I hope I didn't send you my blouse.
Okay, we are now streaming live, apparently.
Wow. Oh, we are. So let's see. I think it's the muscles.
I don't know why I feel like we're waiting on the playing of the national anthem. A lot of silence.
Yeah. And just checking to see. Okay. Just waiting on our host.
Mic will be the only one that's on. Okay, can you guys see the PowerPoint? Yes.
Yes, we can.
Okay. Great. Okay, so I guess we're ready. Okay, you can start. All right, so hi everyone, both in Zoom and in YouTube world. Hi.
Hello.
Welcome to Roll With It. And today you are being hosted by this lovely lady, Dana Atkinson, and myself, Teddy Drummond, and for Roll With It, we just want to go into it and tell you what Roll With It is about, because we're so excited that you are here today and we're looking forward to the entire conversation. So Roll With It the Roll With It campaign is going to discuss issues that members in the Faculty of Social Sciences have been having since COVID-19. So this is including but not limited to the mental struggles as well as the physical health surrounding a proper diet and exercise. So the panel that we have today is very diverse and it draws on different perspectives as a source of information, both professionally and personally. Having the perspective of students, lecturers, someone who is highly competitive, I said, and enjoys engaging in fitness, along with physicians and psychologists that helps to give a more holistic approach to the COVID-19 experience.
Offline.
Yeah, my kids unmuted. Okay, so I hope you guys can still hear me, right?
Yep, we can hear you.
Yeah, we can.
So this panel is solution-driven, which is made to help others to identify areas that are currently ineffective in our lives as students, as lecturers, as just people on a whole. This discussion is also, we're supposed to be able to help us navigate through this time and to provide us with some tools to be more effective in our day-to-day lives. So we aim to just develop strategies on managing university work from students and lecturers' perspectives, to provide tips on coping with psychological struggles,
to provide health and wellness strategies, to assist with motivation when it comes to exercise, because we know that is very, very important, especially during this time. And we're going to be incorporating some exercise and mental health challenges.
All right, so let's get into it, guys. Meet our panelists. Our panelist is inclusive of Dr. Orville Beckford. He's a lecturer, and I'm sure he's a lot of you guys' favorites. So, and then we have our amazing faculty representative 2020-2021, Mr. Kimani Shaw, which is a student voice here on the platform. And we have the lovely Dr. Kyle James Bateman, who is a clinical psychologist and eating disorder specialist. And we have Dr. Tracy Ann Cooley, who is a clinical psychologist, Dr. Abigail Harrison, who is a pediatrician and adolescent health specialist, and of course, Mr. Seth Grinnell, who is a fitness guru. Guys, don't forget our sponsors. It's Fitness Junkies JA, and we'll be having a lot of giveaways. You like this nice crop top? We'll be having a giveaways on crop top, protein powder, protein bars, and of course, we will be having a lot more. So just stay tuned to the conversation. We're looking forward to it all. So Dana, how has your COVID-19 experience been?
So just to get the ball rolling, my COVID-19 experience has just been, I guess, it started off rocky in a sense, just because we're thrown into an environment that was kind of new. We didn't know what was going on. Things were just happening. The government was giving us mandates. Life as we knew it was kind of being thrown into a whole different area. So my COVID-19 experience has been mostly surrounded by school. You know that during this time, we'll have school to really think about. We're trying to navigate and figure out how the school thing works. Right now, we're coming down to the end of the semester, so we're kind of hoping and praying that we'll just finish off the semester with a bang. Otherwise, family-wise, we're going to go into all of that. But my experience has been good and bad, negative and positive experiences.
Well, you know, for me, I feel like my experience has been a bit rough, especially since I'm an extroverted person. So since COVID-19, I have not been able to see my friends. I've not been able to go outside and do the things that I'm so used to. I love having people in my space. I'm a hugger. And since COVID-19, you know, they have to be doing the elbow thing. And that's definitely not me, but it's something that we have to get used to. Guys, don't forget to wear your mask. Don't forget to sanitize. Don't forget to wash your hands. As much as how I'm extroverted, I also want to ensure that I keep those around me and myself, of course, safe through this pandemic. All right, so Dr. Beck, could you share your COVID-19 experience with us?
Dr. Beck, are you there? Well, I guess we can go to Dr. Bateman. You can start us off in the role of panelist if you want to just tell us how your experience has been as a psychologist.
So guys, I'm not seeing Dr. Bateman or Dr. Beckford on the lineup. I don't know if they got knocked off, but since we're rolling with it, I'll just jump in. I'm the
Roll with it, Dr. Harrison.
I'm the outsider, right? So I'm just going to fill the gap. So it's been rough. I'm a little bit like you, RT, because I like my hugs and I like to give a big hail up and I like to link with people, you know, just hang out and chill on the corridor when I walk from faculty to faculty, building to building. So it's hard. And it's hard even, you know, because I have elderly parents, so I have to be careful. I can't just go there and hug them up, which is what I would typically do. So that's been rough. And then, so that's my personal side. The professional side now, that's been hard because apart from being a physician, I'm also a lecturer, right? And the part of being a lecturer that I love is to connect with my students. And it's so much harder to do that when you are online. It's super hard. So I miss that. I miss being able to run a good joke or harass somebody who looked like they're about to, you know, zone out on me. And I said, no, 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 bring it back right here. It's really hard because, you know, you don't have that. And then sometimes with connectivity, I lose them. So it's been hard. But you know what? I am a firm believer in flexibility. And I think this whole concept that you guys have of rolling with it, that's just superb. So I think that's what we just all have to learn to do. I mean, we want this nightmare to be over, but guess what? It's not going to be over for a little while. I suspect we will go back to normal maybe January 2022. So we really have to learn to roll with it this year coming. So yeah, that's my piece.
Thank you so much, Dr. Harrison. Dr. Coley, could you share with us your COVID-19 experience so far?
I think mine probably is, well, hopefully it's not dissimilar from everyone's. So I am more introverted in terms of personality style. So the restrictions that have come have not been particularly difficult for me. I've been quite fine with that. Most of my family also lives outside of Jamaica, and the ones that do are in my house. So as a result of COVID-19, my daughter is back in my home. My mother lives with me. So the unit that I had before has become closer. And that's something that I've enjoyed. And I've used that to focus on, in terms of turning my mind to the things that are positive or to the growth opportunities. So we are a lot closer than we were before. I understand my daughter a lot more now because I have more time to kind of be still and listen to her and get a better understanding of her. So from that perspective, it's been positive. I totally echo Dr. Harrison. I think she and I both have a passion for teaching. And the best part of teaching is the connection. And you guys know as students that you come to the classes and you don't turn on your cameras, sometimes because it makes connectivity worse, sometimes because you're in odd spaces, so you can't turn on your cameras, and then sometimes because you're not there, you've gone somewhere else, especially the undergrad classes with 250 people. So it does make it a lot harder to connect. It makes the flow a lot harder. So I find that I've had to work harder as a lecturer to kind of try to keep everybody as engaged as I possibly can and interested in the subject that I'm teaching. The technology side of it is there. I am a paper and pencil person, die hard. I still write in journals and I write in my book for my appointments. So having to deal with the technology side has also been interesting. But we're all growing and learning. And resilience is important, right? And a part of rolling with anything is deciding what you're going to focus on, what you're going to turn into a learning opportunity, and then the negative stuff, what you're going to let go. So I've also had to live that. So I know it works, and I absolutely know that you can maintain connection with people even during a time like this. Just takes more effort.
Okay, thank you for that. We're definitely going to go into that within the conversation that we're going to be having. So Kimani, if you want to let us know 2 cents on what your COVID-19 experience has been thus far.
Well, for me personally, it's been a roller coaster in a nutshell. It's good. One of the main advantages is that I can be at 4 places, 5 places at once at the same time. Like today I've been in 5 different places at the same time. Now I'm in 2 different places right now. It's rough. It can be rough, but it's not all that bad, right? Because me personally, I welcome challenges, right? If I'm not being challenged, if I'm not feeling, I feel like something is too easy. I don't have a problem if it's too easy, but I like when there's some type of challenge, because with challenge there's growth, and with growth then there's holistic and materialistic and also spiritual development, and I believe in that strongly. So the pandemic has definitely been a rough one. Personally, I've never been a shy person when it comes to technology. I'm really a tech geek, if you want to call it that. So I like tech, but it's just the whole mental aspect of it. Not seeing your friends, being on the computer screen every single day, watching a lecture, and it's not good for your eyes looking at the screen every single day, and that can also have a significant effect on your health, your physical health, your mental health. So it's not what we want. It's definitely, if I can choose face to face, I go straight back to face to face in less than 0.1 seconds. But right now, it's definitely something that we just have to adjust to, and I think I've been adjusting relatively well. I see where I can, we're on social media more. A lot of persons are more active with the whole platform. A lot of persons are still learning. Of course, you're not going to learn everything in one scenario or in one jiffy. It's a process. So a lot of persons are still adjusting. A lot of persons are still not used to this whole online thing and not seeing your friends every single day. So it's a work in progress, work in progress, but it's been relatively good for me so far. I've been connecting better with my family members, my niece every single day. I'm not at UA anymore, and she's over here quite often. I help her with her homework every single day, help her ride a bicycle. So I'm connecting on a greater level with my family and with some of my friends. So it has its good side and has its bad side.
Okay, so sorry. Seth, can you tell me what your experience has been? I'm really interested to hear how you've been coping with COVID-19 as well.
Hi. Hello, can you hear me?
We're hearing you.
All right, great. Well, my job, I work at Greenwich Driving School, and we're a school, so the mandatory lockdown had an effect where we were no longer employed temporarily. And I remember, I was actually working in the grill when the rumors of a lockdown presented themselves. And the advice given was to ensure that you go to the supermarket and stock up. And so as soon as I reached back into Kingston, same day I went to the supermarket. And like a 12-year-old, I bought a lot of snacks. I think I bought a week's worth of snacks, and I think it lasted 2.5 days. At that point, I was like, okay, this is not going to work. So I played tennis about 3 times per week. Where I am a member, the tennis court was locked. And so I started my own drive and find an open tennis court initiative. That took a while. The tennis court I found was not very good, but I made the most of it. Then I found a better one, and I played too much tennis, I guess, in the mornings. There was no work to go to. I could not be late for work. So I made the most of it in that respect. I guess there was a small fear also, I'll be honest with you, of getting fat, even though I was playing a lot of tennis. So I said to myself, I have free time. I can do 2 things. I can exercise more and I can read more books. One prevailed over the other. I started playing tennis in the morning. I played for about 2 to 3 hours. came home, had a meal, I left, and I ran up mountains. I don't know if people know that mountain. And then I did a little gym work after. Um, I got a little fitter during the pandemic, which is not what happens to most people. As it pertains personally to my job, when we reopened after I think 6 weeks, it was very reflective because you were asking yourself, you know, it looked like you really don't have a work. We're open, but no clients were coming in. And thankfully, after about a week and a half, 2 weeks, things picked up. And you know, within COVID and rolling with it, you learned that as you roll with it, you have to always give thanks and be grateful. We at my company we offer a lot of international certification, and you realize how many persons now had lost their job and were looking for some form of certificate to make themselves marketable. And you know, as the instructor, you know, I was definitely touched, and I tried my best to facilitate because you had persons who after losing their work, they only had the money for the certification course. You had persons who left from St. Thomas, came to Kingston, had nowhere to sleep, and only had the bus fare to go back to St. Thomas 2 days after because it's a 2-day course. So with all that, you realize that, you know, you have to be grateful that I could play tennis, that, you know, I was still employed when my business reopened, that I could also help people because it's always a blessing that you can help people who are not in a position as yourself. I'd just like to say one thing before I hand over to the host. So I love pizza, and because I am such a lover of pizza, I naturally became a lover of Italy, just because they produce pizza to the world. So I was reading, and I came upon a word. It's called, I hope I'm pronouncing correctly, sparazzura, something like that. Okay, it's Sprezzatura, and in modern day time, it means that you have the ability to look stylish without appearing to put in much effort. That sounds like a very Instagramish kind of definition. So I read a little more, and it says that that word was first used in 1528, I think. And it really means that someone makes something difficult, looks like it's seamless. All right. And I know that I have gone through 6 weeks of no work and 6 weeks of fitness. A lot of people look at me and say, "Oh, you're born slim, and you naturally, won't gain weight," and that's not the case. Everything takes a lot of work. Being positive within the pandemic takes a lot of work. Rolling with it, regardless of the stressors that might come your way that will affect you physically, emotionally, psychologically, physiologically. So as we continue this discussion, just a note to everyone that continue to roll with it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Seth Gurnell. Dr. Megan, we kind of talk about pizza addiction, but we'd love to hear how you have been dealing with COVID-19 and how it has affected your life.
Taj, can you repeat the question? I'm not hearing you.
How COVID-19 has affected you, Doc?
Okay. All right. So sorry about that, guys. I got disconnected because of JPS. So I'm calling in
struggles.
Yeah. So I'm rolling with it. So you see me looking down, I'm looking down on my phone. So COVID-19 has affected me personally as well as professionally. So what I'd say is that on a personal note, I have experienced several losses. one of whom was really close to me. So this was a close uncle of mine, and just before coming back to Jamaica, I had to take. So I was on a flight that. So he died in the morning when I was leaving the States, and that was like my flight was 6 a.m. and it's a long flight, so connecting. So from 6 a.m. to 3 p.m. I would arrive in Jamaica 3 p.m. So it's getting the shock of that the morning of my flight, having to hold those emotions, having to leave my husband behind, having to sit on the plane while also being cognizant of COVID itself and the space around me, etc., and holding it together. So once I got to my car, opened the car door, and each time I kept on saying to myself, keep it together, keep it together, keep it together. I mean, not what a psychologist would say, but you need the space in order to release. So when I got to my car, saw the water bottle, the last time he was here, that was left in my car. And emotions, those are like building a lot. So the first thing I realized, the first lesson is that while we're going through difficult experiences, life doesn't go on pause. So I had work, had to see my patients, etc., but I had a lot of emotions. So a friend of mine, he saw me driving from the airport, and this was while I had my husband on the phone with me, like supporting me throughout to get home. And when that friend called me, that was when the emotions, like everything, like poured out. And for him, it was a shock because he didn't know what was happening. So another thing in terms of differences with gender, and I don't mean to stereotype, even though I am stereotyping, but you can cry a lot to a female, but for a male, it's like, whoa, I wasn't prepared for this. So there was a lot of silence, but there was a lot of love, because for him, he was willing to jump in his car, drive behind me to go home and to make sure that I'm safe. But I kept it together, spoke to my husband. When I reached home, my husband gave me a little bit of a warning to say, I know more than likely you're gonna close off. You're not gonna receive support. Persons are gonna call you. They're gonna want to check up on you to see if you're okay. And so this is a second lesson, the most difficult one, lean into support. So while I was going through that difficult time, when persons call, you know that there is vulnerability there. You know that you don't want to show them that because you have your pride and standing firm and you're standing strong, and yes, you have things to do. But by leaning into the support, by allowing myself to mourn, that allowed me to have more clarity. So eventually I got up out of bed. I realized that, okay, if I'm to honor my uncle's life, then I'm gonna have to continue to do the work, have the passion that I used to have the passion that he had. So he had, strong work ethic, passionate about work, passionate about family. I had to go back and reconnect with everyone. So it meant me showing up. So I started by showing up for my patients, showing up for the lectures, showing up for the meetings, and giving it my best shot. So each time when I think about, slacking off or not doing my best, I think about my uncle's legacy. And from that, I'm able to recharge and able to come back at it. And this is a time when I need to come back at it because, we have mental illness on the increase. We have persons who are struggling with weight, persons who are struggling with food. We have students who are relying on us. So we have to definitely get our minds in a place where we're able to also lend support to other individuals, similarly to us leaning into support. So that has been my experience.
All right, so firstly, my condolences to you, Doc. Your aura and your energy is definitely not of somebody that has just experienced loss. So you're coping, I assume. And the reality of COVID-19 is that a lot of persons are losing people. A lot of persons need that support. So you had your family for that support. And guys in YouTube world, if it is that you need a support system, find those people around you to ensure that you have your support to keep you sane during this pandemic. It's very important for you to ensure that you protect your mental health at all costs. Of course, your other aspects of health too, but your mental health, especially during this time, is very important. Lean on people for support if you need it. All right, so we just wanted to go into our questions, and we were really and truly wondering, how is it that we deal with complacency while being at home? How is it that you find that atmosphere where you can ensure that you exert yourself and still be your full self while being in the home around just your family members? And we'll just reach out to Dr. Coley for that question.
Hi, Taj. That's a really good question. Complacency, I think, has multiple layers to it. It has a part that could be related to procrastination, which might have been there well before COVID hit. And because of the current atmosphere, that has gotten worse. It has a health component to it and physical wellness component to it, because as Seb was suggesting, a lot of us are leading more sedentary lives now because of this period. We're eating more junk to eat, or to comfort ourselves. And then it has there is another component that may be related to what I will speak to, and then I'll allow Seth to jump in with the health component part. And that side, I think, relates to if the complacency is linked to a feeling of what's the point? Why bother push? There's this pandemic here that could, wipe us out in a second. So what's the point of getting a degree if it's not going to matter? I think a part of what we have to remember is that as a human race, we have experienced difficulties and health crises before. Not in this generation. We haven't experienced it. Our parents have not seen anything like this, but we survive. And a part of understanding survival is understanding that we push forward. And that means each of us has to look inside and say, okay, what am I working for? What am I working towards? And when you have the answer to that, regardless of the current circumstances that you may be in, that is what's going to help you to push forward. Yeah, I could get COVID tomorrow and be a part of the statistics. I could not make it. However, what if I do make it and I took the decision that I wasn't going to do anything because of what might happen? In moments like this, it's about us staying in the present, putting energy into our hopes and dreams, so that can carry us into the future. Sep, you want to talk about the health stuff?
We're going to go into that in just a bit.
Okay.
We're definitely going to tackle that a little bit later down. But for right now, I really want you to kind of go into the school environment, the learning environment, how it's been impacting students, how you lecturers as teachers have been coping and just dealing with students on a whole. So I really want to know, how can you make your learning environment more interactive, or how do you, and then answer that as well as how do you cope with like just sharing an environment, sharing a working space and getting your work done, because it's really important that we'll get, even though we're in this time, we kind of still have to get back to some sort of normalcy. And so it's really important to just get things done. So how do you personally get through your work, and with that, being around other people? I don't know if personally you're dealing with other people in your space, but I know some people have kids, some people have siblings. So how exactly are you dealing with that? Dr. Cooley and then Dr. Harrison, we can go to you.
So for me, I am blessed to have a workspace outside of UE that's obviously separated from my home space. And I say blessed because it helps. So it helps that I go somewhere every day. And so there's a routine that I have maintained even through the crisis. So I go to another space and I work from that space and then I come home. For people who don't have that luxury, you still have to try to delineate workspace from relaxed space. So what I tell some of my students and some of the clients that I have is, even if it's a corner on a porch or in the back in the carport or on a patio, find a space that you set up and turn into your workspace, and you get up in the morning and you take a shower and you go to the space and you do the work that you're supposed to do. And then you take breaks. And when you take breaks, you leave that space and go back into the space that reflects or symbolizes relaxation. And then you go back and forth. It's so easy to allow everything to become merged into one at this particular time. But if you do that, it's going to have an impact on your ability to cope with stress and your ability to push through and maintain structures. So I think the main thing that I do, that I suggest to my students, is to maintain routines, have a space of your own that's different from your relaxed space. So no working all day from your bed. It's not gonna be useful.
That's true. Dr. Harrison?
Thanks, Dana. So I would totally agree with Dr. Coley that routine is important. And I am similarly lucky that I have a separate room at home that I can use to do work, that has a desk, it's comfortable. I can put a sticker on the door that can tell my teenage daughter, don't come in now, I'm doing a presentation or I'm lecturing. But I confess, I don't know if I'm as good at managing my time as I try to encourage everybody else to be. So I tend to be a little bit of a workaholic, and I'm slowly getting better at saying no, but I'm not particularly good at it, right? So, but that routine of having a morning session where I have to teach or I have to supervise or whatever and going through, that is very, very helpful for me. And my family loves routine. So every night we watch NCIS together and that's what we do, all of us. And that is my most special moment for the day. So I think it's critical for routines. Yeah.
Okay, I think that's really important to have that time allotted for each activity, whether it's doing work and then putting work aside and then interacting with your family. I think that's really important. Kimani, as a student, how are you dealing with the whole work environment, dealing with the family members? I don't know if you said you mentioned your niece earlier, so I don't know, how is it like with maybe a younger child being around and with all your responsibilities as well?
All right, so I definitely agree with both persons just now, and especially previously. I too am a workaholic. I'm trying my best to manage that, but it can definitely be. It's normal for you to feel demotivated. I don't think it's anything new, especially right now in the pandemic, right? But I always tell everybody this. You see, in life, it's good and it's highly recommended that if you don't know your purpose, you need to sit down, think about it real hard before you continue and pursue anything else you want to pursue. Because your purpose is a mission. If you don't know your purpose, what you really want to achieve at the end of what you're doing, at the end of a certain age, then it really doesn't make any sense. It's like you're just walking blindly and you don't know where you're gonna end up, right? So it's important to everybody before you continue or do anything you want to do. Because some person might say, I don't feel motivated or anything like that, because a lot of persons don't know their purpose. You don't know what you're working towards. You don't know if you're really working towards curing cancer, if you study medicine, if you want to build a house for your family, if you want to help a certain community or a certain country when you reach a certain age. What is your purpose? What you really want to achieve? So my advice personally, I do this every single day. Something I really find helpful to keep me motivated. I like to visualize things. I like to see it. I like to try and see it. So I actually have a board, right? And I map out. I'm very detailed. I'm extremely detail orientated to the T, right? So I have a board and I have long-term goals and I have short-term goals, right? So I map out everything. So like anytime I feel demotivated or anything like that, I take a look at my goals and I see, all right, I have a reminder. This is why I am getting up every morning and doing this. This is why I am in these online classes and watching these 2 hours, 3 hours lectures. This is why I am doing X and Y. I look at my goals and I visualize where I will be in 5 years if I continue on this path and make improvements. And it helps. It helps when you try to function that type of way, when you can visualize where you want to end up, why you're doing certain things, and where that's going to take you after a while, right? Because in life it's easy. It's really easy, especially right now, to be demotivated, right? And also, not just to do that, but it's important to meditate, right? This is something that I personally do, right? So in order to keep motivated as a student right now, when I reach a certain stress point, when I reach a certain limit, I will take a break and I will meditate. And meditation can be in different forms. What I do though is that I lay down in my room um with dim lights and I have music playing. Or sometimes I just don't have any music playing. And I'm just laying down and I'm staring at the ceiling and I'm just closing my eyes and I'm visualizing. I might not be visualizing, I might just be there meditating for like 20 minutes. And it really helps. It really helps to take a break from the things that are stressing you out and causing you to feel demotivated and not wanting to push through or continue on your goals. It's important to take a break from reality and just, refresh yourself, restart. So I really encourage the fact of meditation. It's really helpful and something that I really find that helps to keep you motivated and keep you focused on your true purpose, your true mission, and just keep you pushing, Never give up, never give in. COVID not stop it. Never, ever, ever. Right? So those are just my few cents on how I can keep motivated as a student right now.
Okay, Kimani. Thank you so much for the inspirational words. A while ago, you sounded very, very powerful, like a YouTube motivational ad, and we love that. We love that so much. But you were talking about keeping focus, and for some people, keeping focus is actually very hard. So, how is it that if, for example, you have a tactile learning style or you have a different learning style, how do you approach lecturers who don't support your preferred style of learning? And I think an example of this could be, for example, a lecturer who uses too many YouTube videos or only read from the slides directly, because I know that I've heard a lot of students talk about it, and I myself have experienced it. So how do you, as a student, Kimani, how do you battle that, and how do you approach those lecturers to talk to them about it? So I want to hear from Kimani first with the student perspective, and then we'll lean over to Dr. Harrison for her perspective as a lecturer.
All right, I love that question because I
Kimani?
actually have a lecturer that teaches a certain type of way that's, and I really appreciate. It could be better, and majority of the class also agree. Are you hearing me?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So personally, the first approach I would really recommend is to communicate with the lecturer. Communication is key, right? That's the first step you should take. instead of lashing out or disagreeing, say, hey, causing a big fuss, don't do this, don't do that. First step, just communicate. Say, maybe you can start off by writing an email, or you can raise it in the classroom. Say, most of us, we don't learn the type of way that you try to teach us by showing videos. This is not how we learn. We learn like this, conversation. Speak to the lecturer about it. But if it's a case like that where you send an email, you try to explain that this is the viewpoint of majority of the class and nothing is done about it, then the second thing to do is to try to adjust, right? Or if you're not adjusting and if you're having difficulty adjust, you speak to someone about it. For instance, your class representative, or you can speak to your faculty representative. If you're in social sciences, you can speak to me about it, saying that, hey, there's a lecturer that is probably lecturing like this and they don't like it. You speak to me about it and see how best we can better communicate to someone of higher authority to see if we can get the message across to the lecturer saying that this is really not benefiting anybody, right? Because a lot of persons might think that they're doing good and it might be doing good on their perspective, but others aren't thinking the same, right? So you take it to a different level. And if that doesn't work, then you try to adjust in a different way, meaning that we all hear that term like you come to university to read for your degree, right? And unfortunately, everything won't always turn out the way that we want it to turn out. Really and truly, we really want things to be, going great all the time. But reality is that it won't always be going great. Life is not picture perfect. Life is not, 100% all right? So if you're having difficulty in the class and you need to try to adjust in your personal perspective, maybe because we're on like an online approach right now, maybe you can try to go to a different lecturer's class to see if you can have anything improved, or you can try to spend more time studying on your own for you to understand the lessons that are being taught in class if the lecturer isn't explaining to the capacity that you need to understand.
I know you wanted my opinion. Repeat your question for me. Thanks, Kimani, for that perspective. Hello? Are you guys hearing me?
I'm
Yes,
hearing.
Dr. I'm hearing you. So the question was how to approach lecturers who don't support your preferred style of learning.
Okay, so I've had some challenges. And for example, let me tell you, when we first started using Blackboard Collaborate and to do our lectures on that, I found it very stressful that, people didn't have on their cameras, so I couldn't see them. When I asked a question, there would be like this stunning silence, deafening. I'm like, okay, guys, are you still there? Because I couldn't feel any energy at all, and I will be honest, it was a little irritating when the entire response would be typed. And I'm like, oh my God, they find it easier to text and answer than to just unmute and say X or Y or Z, Dr. Harrison. So that was very weird for me. But I will say I have adjusted, not entirely, right? But I now make sure I pay attention to the chat section. Occasionally, I will even put in a comment on the chat section. But I still insist on some sort of feedback because in our faculty, for sure, I mean, you're going to be working with patients. So you have to practice how to communicate your ideas to and from persons. And so I also I know that a lot of young people are quite fine with just going and sitting down and reading the lecture. But I do feel there's some finer details that you just don't always get from a PowerPoint. Certainly in FMS, a lot of what we do it's really what I call an art and a science. So, you have to get the scientific knowledge, but then it's an art in terms of how you deliver it. And I would imagine that's definitely also true for social workers, psychologists, social scientists. So I don't think it's unique to us. And so I will just, arbitrarily pick on people and say, okay, your name is the first alphabetically. Let me hear your voice. I want to hear what you're saying. So we do adjust. And I agree with Kimani that if a class finds that a particular approach is not working, then for sure, let the lecturer know. And I think most lecturers should be confident enough to not feel like they're being, put down when somebody tells them that. I think it's always a good idea to get genuine feedback so that we can improve. So I think it's important to be able to, us old fogies have to be able to roll with the times and pick up what you guys are doing. So yeah.
If I can jump in here, along with Dr. Harrison, especially in the period that we're in, remember that your lecturers are also struggling to find ways to keep you guys interested and innovative. There is some power that students have, in my mind, to change the rhythm of a lecture. So if I go into a classroom and I'm talking and as Dr. Harrison says, you ask a question and there's dead space, that drains my energy as well. So I might start off high energy, and by the second hour, I'm reading the slide because I want it to be done, because that's what I'm getting from the class. So if you guys take responsibility for being present in the class and asking questions and jumping in, most lecturers love what they do. And if you seem interested in what they're talking about, you're going to get a totally different level of engagement from them, in my mind, unless you're just talking about somebody who's burnt out, which is a totally different issue. So there is power that the student has to create energy in the classroom that the lecturer, I think, is going to, most lecturers are going to respond to.
Totally agree, Dr. Coley.
I can totally understand what Dr. Harrison and Dr. Coley was saying, because as a student, I mean, initially it's kind of hard going into Blackboard because I'm a visual learner, but as well as an auditory learner. I mean, it kind of works for me, but at the same time, I love the classroom environment, and so it was kind of an adjustment period going into it. I think that students, we need to remember that we're all human and we're all going through things. We need to remember that lecturers aren't superheroes. I mean, they are, but they're not. they're not, above average. They're just like us, and we need to understand that they go through real experiences as well. And we're not always going to know what they're going through. So I think we need to cut them some slack sometimes. True. But at the same time, we need to, us as students need to take responsibility and kind of say, okay, yeah, we need to vibes up the class. We need to engage in the lecture. And I think that I've heard at the end, we're going down to the end of our semester now. So we're kind of winding down, and lecturers are saying how they felt in the class, and students are saying how they felt as well. And some of them are like, there are days like evening classes, way down to 8, 9 o'clock at night, and energy done, tired, like everything. But some of them were like, some of the few people that interacted in the class, that they really appreciated it, and they realized like they've got energy from that. So I mean, we need to cut them some slack, but at the same time, we need to take responsibility for some of the communication between lecturers and students as well. So with that being said, I think Ty, you want to take this one away?
I really want to comment on it, because I think everywhere I go, I'm always beginning up my lecturer, because especially during this time, I feel like we have lecturers that they're actually trying and they're putting out effort. You just need to give them back the same energy. So everywhere I go, no matter what, I feel like my lecturer ears might be ringing at some point. But Dr. Kavita Johnson, Doc, big up yourself anywhere you are right now. Big up yourself, because this semester has been completely amazing, because you made it easier for us. So I just wanted to, yeah.
Okay, so we actually just want to take a short break before we go to the question from the YouTube chat. We have a giveaway. So I really hope that you guys, your fingers are really quick in typing on that keyboard. So as you know, Fitness Junkie is our sponsor, and they have provided us with a protein powder, right? So a protein powder. So the question is, I really hope you can help us with the seeing who can type fast, who can get the correct answer first. So the question is, who is the Faculty of Social Sciences Dean? Everybody must know this. This is really easy. This is a really easy question to win this protein powder. It's really important that we, get the health on track. So, right. So who is the Faculty of Social Sciences Dean?
They don't can play. Oh boy. They don't.
Oh, you're not allowed to come on.
Good try though.
Anybody? Okay.
They should name the full name with the title and everything, or just the first and last name. Do you know?
All right, guys. So I see the responses rolling in the YouTube chat, and I see that you guys are actually up to speed. Because some persons commented and they were indeed correct. We see a comment from Franklin Wap, and we also see a comment from Kenya UNEP, and they're both correct, but only one person can get the giveaway. And of course, the giveaway is from our sponsor at Fitness Junkies JA, and it is Professor David Tennant, and we see Prof in the chat saying, "I'm the dean." so big up yourself, Prof. We love you. So Franklin Wap, be sure to reach out to the faculty page at FSS UA Mona so that you can make arrangements to collect your protein powder. Guys, look at the powder. I don't think you can get it better anywhere than at Fitness Junkies JA. So without further ado, thank you guys so much for participating. We'll get to our next question. Go ahead, Sarah.
So we have a question in the chat actually right before we took that short break with the giveaway. So it says, how do you handle burnout when the majority of social interaction is reduced to virtual communication? So that's really important. So once more, how do you handle burnout when the majority of social interaction is reduced to virtual communication? And I think I want to ask Mr. Seth Grenell, because I really want to hear what you have to say. So can go to you.
Just repeat the question, please. Can you hear me?
Yeah, so how do you handle burnout when the majority of your interaction is reduced to virtual communication? So you know that we're all online now. It's really reduced to a screen at this point in time. So how exactly are you interacting with your friends? How are you interacting with your customers now? I mean, I know you do training, but how was it like going into it? How was it like when the COVID period started? And how is it like now interacting with your customers and just friends, people on a whole?
Okay, I will firstly let me declare I'm an extrovert, and thankfully I have not been that negatively affected. When we just started off back in business after the lockdown, the protocols that the government put in place, we had to adhere to them. So I think at one time it was probably like only 6 to 8 persons in a room, and 6 feet apart and stuff. But there was only a few times where we had to interact via Zoom or other platforms. At the school, even today, I actually left the training early to come on here, and everyone had on a mask. So the difficulty is that sometimes you don't really know who you're talking to, because when they take off the mask, it's a totally different looking person. But apart from that, I am still able to interact and enjoy the social benefit of of not being stuck online. If I were to say, let's say, put myself in the position of someone who has to do this regularly, first I'd say, remember you're not alone. Sometimes you take on the negativity like, woe unto me, the world is falling upon my shoulders. Yeah, I mean, take courage in knowing that the world is falling on a lot of persons' shoulders in 2020. And all of us are trying to survive here. Try to be positive, try to find some positivity to it. I think Kimani highlighted the fact that he can now be in 4 places at once because he can connect via technological platforms and mediums. So I'd say, I mean, and look, all things being equal, I'm sure we won't be stuck here forever. I cross my fingers and knock on wood for that. But we just tough it out. And one famous person said, "What doesn't kill you make you stronger." So we can just try to be positive, keep our chins up, shoulders broad, and we walk through this stage of our life that years from now it might provide great tales to grandchildren. Or did you know about the Zoom years?
Thank you
Dana,
so much for that.
Dana,
Thank you so
sorry.
much for that. But we would actually love, what we would love to have? We would love to have a lecturer's perspective on burnout. So we'd like to reach out to you, Dr. Bateman or Dr. Harrison, any one of you guys on the question. And the question was from Tara Amore, and it is, how do you handle burnout where the majority of the social interaction is reduced to virtual communication?
Right.
Go ahead, Karen, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. So what I would say is, when it comes to the social interaction or online interaction, for me as a therapist, majority of the patients I see, they're online. Then you also have meetings online, and you also have to teach online. So I can definitely get where Tara is coming from in terms of being online for a prolonged period of time. The thing that I tend to do is, if I'm able to organize my time so that I have some time to walk away from the screen, if I'm able to put in a routine so that I'm interacting with friends, I'm interacting with family. So I have organized my schedule in such a way that I'm not sitting in front of the computer for the entire day, even though sometimes I get caught up in it. So I would say implement the routine so that you at least step away from the computer. You're walking up and down, you're doing your exercise, because that is important. You don't want to sit still for the entire time. You also want to pay attention to your relationships. So if you have a close friend or family members that you're close with in the interaction, and paying special attention to the protocols, you make sure that you're safe, but you also have conversations outside of being online. So those are the things that I'm thinking of right now. So once you recognize what's happening in your body, if it's too much being on the screen, if you notice that your eyes are getting tired, you notice that you're having aches and pains in your back, then that is a time to take a break, switch off. And then on the weekends, you're not having classes. Well, hopefully you're not having classes. So on the weekends, take a break from the devices. When I pick up my nephew on the weekends and we're spending time together, I mean, he's a teenager. Once he gets into the car, he's on his device, and then I just give him the look, and he has to put aside the device, and we spend time having conversations. I find that during COVID, the family connection or the friendship and having regular connection, regular conversations outside of devices, I find that tend to be very rewarding. So I would just say organize your schedule so that you are taking a break from the screen, doing your exercise, but you're also connecting with persons. So whatever relationship you have close in your environment while respecting the protocol. So it doesn't mean that we isolate from individuals and we don't see anyone and we just stay on the screen. So that is an extreme version of being online.
So from my side, I'm probably, I'm not as good at these things as Dr. James Bateman. So the way I know when I'm burnt out is that I start to get irritable and snappy with people. And then it suddenly dawns on me, okay, you need to take a break now. For me, I try to have a cutoff time when I need to come off of the device. Having said that, I mean, I go and watch NCIS with my family, but for me, that's relaxation, so we run and joke, etc. with that. I'm very lucky that I have a set date every Friday evening to link up with a good sister of mine and run to joke and de-stress and cuss about the world. And yes, have a glass of wine occasionally or always, probably. That's the highlight of the moment.
Occasionally.
So it works, right? So I think you have to find small things. So maybe instead of, having a large gathering, you can have one or two close friends where you can still space. And you know that these people are friends that on their day-to-day experience at work or at school, they're wearing their masks, they're using their hand sanitizer and they're washing their hands. So you know that they are serious about keeping safe. And so you can connect together and work, but don't come close. Don't come close enough that you can transmit, because then that brings a whole lot of set of anxiety. Typically when I used to feel burnt out, I would take leave, but I have to tell you, I attempted to take a week off. I think it was in August, and well, COVID just doesn't allow you to really take leave because there's so many other things happening that, the university's calling you, or your patients would be calling you, or your family would be calling you for some other crisis. So leave is not really vacation right now. You can't disappear and do it. But I think it's good to take downtime. Otherwise, go for a walk, just go outside the yard, and just watch the sunset or look at the sunrise and just feel the breeze on your face. I think for me, those are my coping strategies. Yeah.
I think connecting with nature. So I like that one, Dr. Harrison, because there are times when I'll lay outside on the ground and I'll just look up in the sky, and you forget that you have all of these senses that you should appreciate, and on a daily basis we don't step back to really acknowledge them and be grateful for them. So we can use our senses in different ways, not just on the device.
Exactly.
So while we're on the topic of burnout, how do you think we will maintain a school and personal life balance? I would love your insights on that, Kimani, and also I'd love the psychologist's insight. So Dr. Coley, we'd love your insight for this after Kimani. Kimani?
Yes, Sajid, could you repeat that, please?
All right, so the question is, because we were on the topic of burnout, we wanted to know how to maintain a school and personal life balance.
All right. So one thing I definitely will recommend is to have a schedule, right? Practice makes better, right? And the simple things are the things that really help you. You don't need to do anything ridiculous or take anything. You just need to do some simple things. So the simple act of, before you go to your bed, you map out your day each day. You can map it out. Maybe you write it down on your phone or with something on Google or online, right? But you schedule your day each day, right? What you have to do, and you also need to ensure that you schedule in time for rest, time for yourself, while you have the tasks that you need to get done, right? So personally, how I separate my school life, my work life with my personal life is that from organizing, right? Having something organized from each day. Maybe not each day, but probably something per week, right? You have your day scheduled, you have your day organized, broken down into different sections, right? And you work accordingly on that, right? So in that case, you wouldn't have any time, or you try as best as possible to not have anything overlapping with your personal life. So you know when it's 7 o'clock based on the schedule you would have had, time for rest, right? It's not time for you to be looking on the computer screen right now. It's time to rest at 7 o'clock, right? And you practice this each day, right? To ensure that you're not doing work when it's time for you to rest and refresh yourself and refresh your mind, right? And it's simple, but it's effective, right? And you do this every single day. You have a routine. It was mentioned earlier, the routine. You have a daily routine that you practice, right? You know that at a certain point in time, this is when you're going to get your rest. This is when you're going to sleep. This is when you're going to just do something to just relax. For me, when you reach a certain point in time, I just play COD. I play some COD on my phone for a while. I listen to some music. I go outside under the mango tree, eat some mangoes, or I just eat some sweets up, or I just go outside and just relax. In the nighttime, I stare at the stars. I listen to some music at a certain point in time. But it's just good when you have it organized and you just practice that daily routine each day so that you don't have anything intertwined and you're not doing the work when you're supposed to be resting and improving your mental health.
Kimani, you sound very organized. I'm jealous.
Right? In my mind, I'm taking notes. I agree with everything that Kimani said. I think that a key concept that we all, have to start embracing, especially in this present time, is the idea of boundaries. So do what you need to do when you need to do it. So if you're supposed to be studying or if you're supposed to be teaching, well, for us as teachers, we can't not teach when we're supposed to teach. But if you're supposed to be studying, put in the work. And in the same respect, when it's time for you to relax and have fun, do that. And don't allow, the idea or the thoughts about what you haven't completed or what you still have left to do to take away from the pleasure or the relaxation in the moment that you're currently in. And that's going to be easier for you to do if you're creating balance. So if you're following through in the moments when you say, I'm supposed to be working and I'm supposed to be studying, then you're going to be much better able to relax when it comes time for you to actually relax. I would also say, especially for Kimani and Dr. Harrison, you have to learn how to say no. Saying no is super important. You have to listen to your body, understand when you've hit that limit, and then say no without feeling any way at all about it.
I'm working on it. Dr. Cooley. I'm working on it. Getting a little better.
Okay. So we have another giveaway to give. So I hope you guys are ready for the next question. Hope you're ready. So I'm going to ask you guys to name 4 panelists and their professions. 4 out of all of us and their profession, sorry. I mean, if you want to include me, fine. If you know who I am, great. So yeah, 4 panelists and tell me their professions. Let's see who can come up with the answer first. Oh, and I forgot to mention, actually, you're winning a crop top. So this is more for the girls, I guess, or if you guys have a girl that you want to give, we'll have you can do that. So it's a crop top. So 4 panelists and their professions.
All right. So if you let me.
So guys, you must be wondering how the crop tops look, and this is it. Don't forget our sponsor is Fitness Junkie JA. So this is the crop top. It's very cute, guys. It's very cute, guys. We love it. If we could, we would have it for ourselves, but we can't. So don't forget to comment for sponsors, and we're looking out for the responses. So for the panelists and their professions, so it's this crop top from Fitness Junkie JE. So if you're going on a run, going to the gym, anything, guys, throw on a crop top and just hit the road.
Dr. Beckford, I'm just letting you know, we're seeing you and we're hearing you, yeah? Good to have you back. JP, kick you for 6.
Yeah, they could, and I don't have power cut where I live in. I live next door to King's House. So it was unusual, very unusual. Now only off and back in 5 minutes.
Never mind.
I had to head to campus. Do they still need my contribution?
Of course.
Dana and Tan, throw some questions.
I would actually love to hear you answer the question of how you handle burnout, Dr. Beckford.
Okay.
Because you are a super teacher.
Right. Put it this way. First things first, my blood pressure used to be very high. And I just, my doctor said to me, stop worrying about anything at all. So I stopped worrying about everything. And my blood pressure went down to 120/80. And I've been that for about the last almost 2 years. And so what I do, try not to worry, because worrying not gonna make you get on to the internet. Like it went a while ago, I tried everything. I tried hotspot everything, but worry not going to help. Burnout is something that you have, it's a state of mind. It's a state of mind. I like teaching, I like what I do, so therefore I don't find a problem with teaching. Am I on? Still on, you hear me?
Yes, hearing you.
Okay, yes, right. And so burnout is a state of mind. You decide if you are burnt out or not. You decide. I don't feel burnout. It's a stressful semester, but I don't feel burnout. When I feel burnout is when I don't want to talk. And I'm still teaching. I'm teaching this evening, I'm teaching tomorrow. And so burnout is not, it doesn't really bother me. Because plus two, there are some of us that are stress driven. I want them. I prefer have too many things to do than nothing at all. I get very miserable if I have nothing to do. And then I get up to all kind of antics. So which is why burnout is so difficult to come by for me. And also too, I believe you just try and find fun in whatever you're doing. So like I'm driving over here now and I'm laughing at myself. I said that I could have left long time, reached campus, but I'll be hoping that electricity will come back. And next to King's House, now let's come back. And then I said, you fool, go on to campus. You stupid fool, go on to campus. So you try to find fun. That way you avoid the negative feeling and the burnout.
I knew your response would be interesting.
Okay.
I have a couple things here.
So it looks like we actually have a winner for the giveaway. It's Marjorie Bryan. So we're going to give that away, and we're going to throw in a protein bar as well with that. So just make sure you message FSS Mona on Instagram. Here's a protein bar, guys. So you're going to get the crop top and the protein bar as well. So we're going to jump right, or should we do another giveaway?
Dana.
Should we do another giveaway? I think we should do another giveaway.
Give me him. This a film?
Yes, you're hearing. The mic is on. Yeah, I have a few things to say to the students.
Okay, go ahead, Dr. Beck.
I know my thing to do while online. It might have been said already. Log on early, because when you don't, then you stress out yourself. Sometimes I find that you use it, the log on this morning, You left everything there when you come on, or the mic not working, and you can't get onto OER really. So I developed a habit of logging on 15 minutes before at least, and sometimes even half an hour before. Set up the thing, you can go eat something and come back, but you have logged on. I said, be prepared for interruption. Don't get flustered by the interruption. You will get interruptions online. Power go, or the internet go, or sometimes all manner of things. You get interrupted by your child, your children, and so on. But so be prepared for interruption. So don't let interruption start to give you a headache and you're getting annoyed and why you interrupt me and yesterday I come stop me and so on and so forth. Just be prepared for interruption. I have here number 3, have food nearby. Have food. I know Carol is an eating disorder specialist and that's fact, but I take my food seriously. So I say have food nearby. When I'm going upstairs, my studies upstairs, I carry a banana, I carry a pack of biscuits, and I carry my breakfast. So I say have food nearby. For students, ask for break because some of the lecturers will not give you unless you ask them. You have a class for 3 hours, it's untenable to be online staring at a screen for 3 long hours. It's very difficult. And so ask for break, even the lecturer. So lecturer, can we get a 10 minutes? Because you need to attend to personal matters and domestic matters. In a class that I was in, a child, I heard a child cry in the background. So I'm saying to the student, go and look at that child, because that sounds serious, a serious cry. She said, no man, in bad sometimes. You know when she go, he burn up himself, bad. So, 2nd degree burns and was in the hospital for almost a week. Because I said to her, that crying, because you know, as a father, that crying is not a normal crying. And I said that if you're online, make sure that the environment is sanitized for your children. Can't have water on the fire, because what them do is draw down the water themselves. You have to ensure that all of that are taken care of before you go online. Now stop. Just pause and go sort it out. You hear the child scream, go sort it out. Go and sort it out. Are you saying stop, Carol? Okay.
No.
Yes. And next one, exercise hands and feet while in the sedentary position. Of course, I'm diabetic and I find now I have to be going to the acupuncture and the physiotherapist. I sit for 7 hours sometimes, 5 hours, because you're not aware how long I'm sitting for enough. You have a class 9 to 11. Then you check your email until 12 o'clock. You have a class 12 to 3. Then you check email again. And then you have a class 5 to 7. You are sitting down for almost 10 hours. By the time I get up, I can hardly walk. My legs are swollen. So I said, exercise your hands and feet while in the sedentary position. And don't be easily distracted. But again, it goes against the first, because you have to be easily distracted by your children. A child screams, a child is crying, you can never tell. Don't ever say, sure, they're just crying again. Make notes. Of course, a number of students are asked me today for the last class of today for a course. Can they get the recording? Can I ask me to keep up recording? I said, no, Mitch will take it down by a certain time, but you choose now to take down the recording from the start of the course, because they are saying that they didn't take it down from beginning of the course. That's madness. I said, watch your microphone and video, because we have seen online the amount of people get in trouble because they didn't realize that their mic was on and the video was on. And there's a gentleman who was called a CEO, damn idiot, blinking fool, not knowing that his mic was on. And the CEO was listening. And so careful, especially you females, careful with your with the video, because it picks up everything even when you don't want to pick up anything. And the last thing, I have 2 things. Avoid getting frustrated, have fun, and learn to roll with it. Learn to roll with it. It is what it is, and we have to deal with it.
Good one, Dr. Beckford.
Okay, so Doc, can you just summarize all of that? Because I feel it's going to be really important for our listeners to just do bullet points to summarize all of that they just said a while ago, because I hope the listeners are listening. Just saying. So can you just tell us one more time what you just said? Like, as in just the 3 point, more than 3 points you just said a while ago. Can you just give us
but the main point is to log on early. The next one, don't get frustrated, because remember, this is what it's going to be. As I said, prepare for interruption, don't get frustrated. And I'm saying learn to roll with it. Those are the salient points. This is what it is. There's no point in getting frustrated, picking out your hair, and I don't know what No, it makes no sense. It makes no sense. It's not going to give you 1 ounce of A or B plus. You understand me? So it makes sense. All you do is just roll with it, prepare for it. It is what it is, and learn to go along with it. And there's a verse on the scripture. The Apostle Paul says, I've learned whatever state I'm in, therein to be content. So this is what we have. We have to work with it.
All right. Thank you. Okay, so we conducted a survey before this, and I really hope that the listeners here filled out that survey. So what an interesting question that we got from it was how to find the urge to cheat. Now we know that exam time is coming up, right? And so students, you really have to be vigilant about conducting your exams properly in a fair manner, because I know that all of us are bright sparks, all of us study hard, right? Mm-hmm. So a question that came up was how to reduce the urge to cheat, because it's really easy for us to go on Google and type up a few answers here and there, but I want to hear from Dr. Bateman, Dr. Cole. I feel like I want to hear from everybody. Really, really short though. Really short. 1 minute per person. So how would you advise students to reduce the urge to cheat?
Yeah, I think it's to keep in mind that the decision that you make today is gonna affect you for the rest of your life. So if you don't have integrity at the end of the day, when you receive your degree, you need to show that you've earned your degree. So if you spend time cheating, and then when you're employed, you know absolutely nothing in the field, then that's a representation of cheating. That is a long-term consequence of your actions. So you have to know about your values, know about the type of student you'd like to be. You have resources around you, you have lecturers around you, and it's really for you to take responsibility and invest your energy in doing the work. Because if you're gonna invest in cheating, you're using the energy in any case, so do it in a productive way, meaning use your energy in a productive way, not the cheating in a productive way. Use your energy in a productive way so that you can gain the long-term effects of it. Invest in your values and your integrity.
Okay, Dr. Coley?
I 100% agree with that. When I speak to my students about it, I focus on character building and integrity. You guys are young adults. You're getting ready to launch and to contribute to society, hopefully in a positive manner. The decisions that you make now, especially the decisions that you make over and over and over that are negative, can become a part of how you're going to see yourself and who you are. So I don't spend a lot of time worrying about cheating, because if the student chooses to cheat, that's going to be something that hurts them in the long run. The responsibility is on you guys to start making decisions about who you want to be and how you want to be perceived. There is, in my mind at this point, fearing failure is unnecessary. If you don't do well in a course, that's information that you need about this not being the particular area that might be right for you. So why would you want to cheat and actually think that you deserve the A and you're good at this subject when you're not? We all have strengths and weaknesses. Just embrace what your strengths are, work on your weaknesses, and allow yourself to go in the direction that you're supposed to. Dr. Beck?
Okay. Yes. I keep saying that there's a karma in life. Life is a balance equation. You cheat over here, so it's going to come back. So especially when you can least afford it over here. I remember the first job I got, they asked me to balance these things as per cash book and balance as per bank statement. I done accounting in my master's degree. And I said to myself, well, what a good thing I learned it well. Because the first day at work, They say, take these, balance these as per, you get the accounting, right? Up to accounting 3. Okay, balance these as per cash book. Balance. What could, you think I could tell them, say, well, you want to say, well, right now, still, you wait. No, but I learned it well. And when you cheat, it's going to come back to haunt you. And practice make perfect. You practice the cheat from now, you're going to end up in prison. Plain and simple.
I don't really have anything else to add to that, Dana, except to say that I think if you cheat on your exams, the bottom line is that you cheat in yourself. And so I think, as Dr. Beckford said, it really is just going to come back to you. And I don't really want, when you guys are 40, 45 and you're sitting down and you're drinking 2 beer and you run joke, somebody say, yeah, man, you remember when you did thief on the exam? That it, and it just will pull away from what people see you as and your integrity. And then why should people believe you? Because them always saying, if you lie, you will thief. And if you thief, you're going to end up in jail. So that's I think you just put in the time so that at the end of it, you know that this is what you deserved. And as Dr. Coley said, maybe this is not for you. Maybe you need to put your energy somewhere else.
Yeah.
But, so long as when you put your energy in, sometimes we just cruise. We don't do any work and then we want to aid. That can't fly. Can't fly. If we put in the work.
You have to learn to roll with it.
Yep.
That's so true. Kimani, what's your take on this as a student?
Personally,
hi everyone, thank you very much for
I agree.
welcome and that lovely introduction, Shamar.
One second.
I'm Andrea Chung from Kingston.
Never mind. We remember that you're doing 2 things at once, Kimani.
You have to mute one.
All right. So personally, I agree with everything that's said, but I think what everyone is doing is you're looking short term and you're not looking long term, right? So you're thinking about it this way that, all right, I'm gonna cheat now. I'm gonna pass the exam here. I'm gonna get 90%, but at what cost, right? You pass the exam now, but when you get that degree and you don't know when you actually get the job and you're being hired by let's say Bank of Jamaica, and you don't know how to organize and check for these bank balances because you've been cheating all this time and you've not been looking long term and short term, what are you gonna do? Right? I think it's a common mistake everyone does. You're looking at things short term, say you're gonna pass now, but at what cost? Where will you end up if you have a mindset like that? Because I understand that everybody wants to pass and no one wants to fail. Naturally, no one wants to fail, but you have to come to acceptance that, you have to put in the work. Things not gonna always be easy, and that's why you have persons there to help you, right? That's why you maybe not learning in class, but you have YouTube University, you have friends and family members here to assist you, right? So if you genuinely know that you're really not doing good in a course, and instead of thinking of, all right, I'm not doing good about this, I'm gonna cheat around it, I don't support that mindset. You get the help from now, you get the help from early, because I'm sure that a lot of persons can come to that conclusion saying that I just started this course and I can see that I'm not doing well. A lot of persons get that feeling from early. So you have a responsibility to make a preparation from now to set up yourself to know that you will understand, because it is possible. I'm not saying because I can do it, you can do it. We all learn differently. So you test how you learn, you test out the different things that you can help to understand better. But I really don't support the act of cheating, because it doesn't turn out well for you. If you really want to be successful in the field that you're studying, it doesn't turn out well for you in the long run. So I think we should all visualize the long run outcome instead of the quick turnout that is the short run. So that's my perspective on it.
Thank you guys so much for your perspectives, and I feel like this is something that people always preach. So there's this billboard that I live in St. Catherine. So there's this billboard that I always see on my way to St. Catherine. I don't know if you know that. you know, the Riverton area, but this billboard is from the NIA, and I believe it says that integrity is doing the right thing even when no one is looking. So even though you're going to say to someone on the surface that, oh, I have integrity, I'm not going to do X, Y, Z, I'm not going to cheat, ensure that when you're in your space alone and you're doing that exam, you maintain that same integrity that you're putting out on the forefront. So guys, integrity is doing the right thing when no one is looking. So without further ado, we have to go into another giveaway. And again, our sponsors, Fitness Junkie JA, and our next giveaway is a protein powder. You guys are listening. Our next giveaway is another protein powder, and it's for you to tell us who is the deputy dean. So earlier we asked you who is the dean. So now we want you to tell us who is the deputy dean of the faculty, and we will be looking out to see those comments come in. And this is the protein powder. Again, our sponsors, Fitness Junkie JA. You guys can find them on social media. Ensure that you follow them. The best things for fitness right here, Fitness Junkie JE. So guys, don't forget to comment.
Our lecturers allowed to answer?
No, sir. You sure? Yeah. Okay, guys. So my co-host wants to throw in a protein bar for you guys. So with the protein powder, you'll also get a protein bar. So send in those responses. We're watching the chats. We have somebody watching the chats, and we want to see those responses rolling in.
Okay, so we're going to, while we wait on a response, we're going to ask some health questions because, as we know, listen, I'm an athlete and I'm suffering as an athlete. It's really hard to maintain fitness on a whole. I mean, I'm a swimmer, so I have no pool at my house, so it's really hard for me to go out and exercise, getting my daily fitness. So I really want to know, just personally, how are you guys maintaining your fitness? Each person, like, how are you maintaining everything? I mean, we're going to ask Mr. Seth Grenell really soon, but really quick, like 30 seconds. How are you guys? Are you maintaining your fitness, and how are you doing so?
I'm trying. I'm not always good at it, but I'm trying. So I try to either go for a walk or join an aerobics class by Zoom 2 or 3 times a week. So yeah, I try. I'm not always successful though.
That's pretty much what I do as well. 3 days a week, I now walk.
I used to walk, but I find that I wasn't keeping fit at all for a long time because I didn't walk for a very long time. So my doctor, Dr. Michelle Holt, she said, okay, in order to entice me to keep fit, she bought a TT board. And so I go there on a Saturday and I play TT for 3 or 4 hours. Because I figure if I at least even one time, but I try exercise in the bathroom at night, but that only for about 20 minutes. But I do try. But you have to, if not, all manner of things will befall you if you don't exercise. Especially because you have a sedentary lifestyle, you're not going to campus, you're not running up the stairs to your office, you're not walking to class. If you don't, you pack on the pounds and you pack on the bad pounds. And also it helps to drink a lot of water. I make sure I have a glass of water before bed and 2 glasses after I get up in the morning to cleanse the body. But it's necessary to try and find exercise where you can move your fingers, you can go up on the ball of your foot, you can do things, but you have to just try because it's necessary. is not a luxury.
I mean, same. Personally, I jog 5 days a week. I jog at least 5 kilometers. It's like a hill. I've been an athlete from high school, so it's something that's in my blood. I can't just sit down here and not be active. I personally like fitness. I like being fit. I like to be mentally fit. I try to be as fit as possible. So I jog 5 days a week and I exercise. I'm a buckler Gatorade here, so Gatorade, if watching me, can hire as an ambassador. Well, I try to keep as hydrated as possible. Sometimes it might fall off the track, but I try to be as fit and exercising as frequent as possible.
Sorry, I cut off for a second. I do running, weight training, and cardio work.
Go ahead, Septi.
I do everything. Yeah, so I mean the only thing I don't do now is football because I get injured. But yeah, everything.
Okay. Hope you can still hear me. So we have a winner, J Bell. J Bell, you win the protein powder as well as a protein bar. Now I do think we can. I'm so sad that everybody's on YouTube because I really have a challenge I really wanted to get everybody into. However, before we get into that, by the way, it's another prize as well, of course. Before I get into that, I want to show a really short video by our very own sponsor, Mr. Sofgurna. It kind of ties in with the challenge that we want you guys to do. I mean, we're going to ask the panelists to do it. I don't know if you guys have a little room. I don't know if Kimani wants to get up the panelists a bit of space, right? So I'm going to show the video. Get yourselves ready. I'm going to show you the video, and then right after that, we're going to try and see if any of us, even me or Taj, any of us can do the challenge and win something. It ties into what we're going to be talking about next. So just give me a
And guys, while Lena is waiting to share her screen, don't forget to participate. We want you guys to participate. We're reaching out to the panelists. Dr. Bake, you can, show some muscles and you can join in on the challenge. Kimani, we see you. So also there's no audio, so you have to watch them. It's the burpees challenge, guys.
Man is going to be my representative on this challenge.
The Beckford is going to represent me.
Luckily, I don't have enough space here.
So hold on. How many of these we supposed to do, Seth? Challenge business, because you look like you're gonna go till 100.
2, we can do 2.
All right, so here's the deal. We're going to section off the prizes, right? So the person who can actually get to 5, then we will give you an exercise bar and sample sizes of protein powder, and we'll throw in, 3 protein bars for you, and that's just 5, guys. That's just 5, and of course, if you can go 10, then we'll give you a bigger prize. But let's wait to see Who's accept? Oh, so Dr. Harrison is accepting the challenge.
All I have to do is 5.
Go ahead, Doc.
So what you have to watch me do 5?
Yes, Doc.
Kimani, come on. You're the representative. What's happening?
Space.
Ready.
Mercy. Dr. James, you should be doing this. You way fitter than me.
Doc, I think you have to turn down your camera.
Oh, you mean so you can see me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow, no trust, guys.
Me, I'm saying. Okay.
One.
Oh, Dr. Harrison.
Three,
My God.
4.
Come on, I don't think I
One more, Abby. One more. 5. You have done it. You have done it.
Look at
You
that.
have rolled with it. You have done it.
Barely, very barely. Let me tell you.
But you have done it. You have done it.
Bust.
That's the key. You have done it.
Busted.
So Dr. Harrison, you just won yourself, exercise bar, protein powder, and 3 of the lovely protein bars. And guys, it's chocolate sprinkled donut flavor, so you won't even know that it's healthy. So who's taking on the challenge to go 10?
That is
Dr.
that.
Kimani, can go,
I already know what
We
the
can split it.
I'm not in the appropriate setting right now.
Yeah. You want me to do it?
You want to do it?
I mean, I guess I can do it.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Go for it. Go for it.
One second. Okay, Dina.
No, y'all make me show my camera. Hello.
Yeah, and then she knew turn.
This integrity thing. I was very concerned.
Ready? Oh, we haven't seen one yet.
All of this preparation.
Yeah, it's almost like she ran pray first.
I'm saying, don't.
Oh, I mean, she's
I'm gonna pay up tomorrow. You go on.
still prepping.
Who's off for Kimani? I should have put you as my representative, Dr. Harrison.
Like a good
And
test.
if Dana makes it to 10, Dana will
No, go for it.
top, a protein powder, and two protein bars. I throw in 2 for you because you're going to 10. Go ahead.
She's not going down.
Yeah, she's not going down.
No, man. Abigail went down to that chest, got it down.
Good girl.
1. 2.
3, 4, 5.
Great.
10.
On to 6. Oh,
8,
8,
9,
9,
Ah,
10.
10. All right, she take the exam to show us how to roll with it.
There you go. There you go. Half the age and double the burpees.
So Selena just won herself a crop top, protein powder, and 2 protein bars. Don't worry, for the persons in YouTube land, we'll be giving you a giveaway soon. We're coming to you. But then actually
you have any other prize like oxtail and rice and peas?
You might have to do some burpee for that, right?
Yeah, that's why no out of 10. Out of 10. Cow food. Curry cow food. Right.
So Taj actually wants to go too because she apparently wants to win some prizes. So she can go
Okay.
5 or more.
So
More?
we can do it. Or we get
Guys,
with it 20.
I think I can go 10.
I think she can.
10.
Go for it.
I think I can go 10.
Kimani, leave them putting us to shame, Kimani.
No, man, we can do this.
Let me see how this goes. I'm not police, guys. So bear with me, please.
What? My representative is coming on.
We're not seeing her. Oh, what? Oh, Kimani started.
Carol, are you going to tell her that those don't count?
Oh,
I was trying to get you to. No, I was
Walk
saying
him
it,
out
that
and
your chest.
Yeah, your chest up to the ground.
Yeah, your chest need, but I'm not seeing it.
Oh, I can see
That's a
it.
gallery view.
Yes, she's.
Because I'm on the phone.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Kimani is doing it properly though.
Go, Kimani, go. Good job here, Taj. I'm here mashing up your little burpee, but at least you took it on.
Yeah, yes. At least you're brave enough to do it.
Yes.
Can you do one in slow motion and show them how?
Who, me?
Yeah, in slow motion.
She's
Okay.
done. You only have to know $6 million man.
Yeah, and then,
Guys, the 10 is not easy, so take your time.
All right, Seth is ready.
Septimus Prime.
Look at the camera properly here.
Yeah, man, we're seeing you.
So basically want to go down into a crouch like this. And then you want to kick out your legs. All the way like that.
Oh my, look at that perfect push-up, rotted. Whee! Okay.
Becky,
yes,
Any
you're
of us
looking
did
for
good.
space.
I'm looking around because I feel bad now. And although she don't have my kind of pride, you know, I could swap those for a can saltfish and or a cow foot. Swap them at some restaurant. Where I say you can protein shake and give me a cow foot.
Thank you for showing us how to really do it. I don't think I'm
Thanks,
ever going to get to that point though. Never ever. I'm not even going to try.
Abigail, we are past the age and stage.
Way past, man, I tell you, way past.
Because one of the issue where I'm reluctant to try it, Mr. Wap gone is me alone inside here. If I can't get up, me know I'm going to man. Me have to try to roll out the door and roll down the stairs. So I say, you know, better safe than sorry. Because Mr. Wap is gone. And so I don't want to go down and I can't come up. I'm here cook.
I agree.
We're not trying to come up.
But at least Becky, you'd roll with it.
Yeah, that's true. At least I'll roll with it. All the way up to the hospital.
Okay, so we're going to have another giveaway just for the audience because I know you guys see the left up because you're not on Zoom and you can't do the burpees, but I know you guys doing it at home. So we're going to give away another exercise bar as well as a protein bar. So the first person, quick singles, first person that can name all the departments of the Faculty of Social Sciences, you will get an exercise bar and a protein bar. So the first person is really, really easy, really, really quick. You guys can come and just comment down below on the YouTube channel. And then we're going to our last question for all the panelists. So really quickly, what are all the departments in the Faculty of Social Sciences?
And guys, just because you have been loyal listeners so far, because we're seeing you also on YouTube, I'm just going to throw in a protein sample, protein powder sample. Yeah.
Look like a Maggie chicken soup.
And guys, Don't forget our sponsors.
Fitness Junkie JA, really, really important for us to know. Remember?
Oh, c'est plus okay.
So guys, just remember, it's the departments. What are all the departments in the Faculty of Social Science? It's really, really quick, really, really easy. And then we're going to go into our last panel discussion. We're going to have an announcement for you guys really, really quickly. Right? You guys really excited because I know you guys filling out those surveys that we are giving out. So I'm pretty sure based on one of the surveys that you filled out recently, you can kind of guess what we're going to announce today, right? So really quickly, what? Okay, in the meantime, I guess we're gonna ask all the panelists well, I guess Mr. Seth can really go into this really short. I give it like 2 minutes, right? Some health tips. How like students, because you know that we're inside, exam period, really, really important. So we really want to find out some like health tips, anything that you can give us, any advice really. So 2 minutes.
Is it septic or any of us can start?
I mean, you can
fine. You can go ahead.
And then Mr. Grinnell.
One of the health tips that is necessary is the mental health. The first one. We tend to forget the mental health and we concentrate on the fitness so we can look like septic and so on. But the mental health is very important. You determine what stresses you out. You determine if somebody will stress you out. They can't stress you out without your acquiescence. You have to agree that they're going to stress you out. So your mental health is the first one. Think positively and keep your mind focused on positive things. Life is awful sometimes as it is, but you have to find a decent part in it to roll with. So it is important that you keep a very good mental health. With respect to your physical health for students, walk around, if it's even to walk around the house, to walk around the house. If you live in upstairs, go upstairs and downstairs. You might not have the time and it might not be safe for you to go walk early in the morning, late at night, but you can walk upstairs and downstairs at least 5 or 6 or 7 or 10 times. And also it's very important that you keep hydrated. There is a tendency to eat sweet food because sweet food is comfort food. Try not to. Try to stay away from of course, the too much carbohydrate, which then go and convert to sugar. Try and stay away. It's hard to stay away from it, but because we're going to eat the rice, we're going to eat the banana and yam and dumpling and so on. But what to do, if you have one such meal for the day, do have another one. So like I'll have one of those such meals. I love ackee and saltfish, and I cook it at least once or twice a week with banana and dumpling and yam. But that day, then for breakfast, for lunch, I'll perhaps have I'll have an island grill with the fried plantain or something. But you stay away from too much the too many carbohydrates. And then also in terms of your exercise, if you have a partner in the house, it's good because you feel better when it's two of you attempting it more than just one. You feel so much better rather than just you don't even know when you're going to pop down. That's it from me.
Dr. Harrison, can we hear from you also?
Sure. I would certainly concur with Dr. Beckford on avoiding the excess carbs, but also when you're having carbs, I think carbs get a bad rap sometimes because you can eat some healthy carbs, you know? So if you have your sweet potato and your green banana and your yam, that's way better than a slice of hard bread and some chocolate chip cookies and fries. Because, you know, what we want, I mean, not to get too fancy, but there are certain foods that have what we call lower glycemic index to kind of help you to balance your sugar out so that you don't get these major sugar spikes and then you get a crash. So, you know, we sometimes use that sugar rush to just push us after that we really get a bad slump. So we want to avoid those. Other thing I'd say is that we have to make sure and balance each meal so that we get some proteins in there, some carbohydrates. We always tend to eat too much protein, mind you. You know, we probably only need one chicken leg or one chicken breast, but we will have a whole half a chicken if we get the chance. So we have to be careful not to have too much of that also. But we have to have some fats and some carbohydrates to give us the fuel. It's just to balance it out and make sure that we get in the vegetables, which can be difficult, I think, sometimes for young people because it takes more time to prepare it. You have to store it, and oftentimes it costs more. But it is definitely going to feed the brain better than and cheese and a box juice. So we have to make sure that we balance. And then I would just add to what Becky said in terms of making sure that we get sleep. You need to get at your stage at least 7 hours. I know sometimes as students, you know, you kind of cutting it down to the crunch and you can go sometimes 4 hours, but then you can't think straight the following day. So we have to get sleep. We have to eat right, we have to take rest, we have to exercise. So I think those are critical. And sometimes, yes, you're going to feel like you're having a bad day and it will just feel better to have a chocolate bar and chill. But that can be every day. So, you know, sometimes Dr. Beckford have him ackee and him saltfish, but him can't do that every day. So, you know, every now and again you get a feel good. I'm not saying that you can't eat a burger or some fried chicken, but it can be all the while. And then Seth now will help you to burn it off. But as they say, you can't outrun a bad diet. Not true, Seth?
Yeah, and just to add to that, Abigail, that they can go for plant fat in terms of pear, cashew, peanut. They can go for animal fat because you need fat in the diet to help build the bad cholesterol.
Definitely.
Well, what you both shared was I had that in mind. I would just add, I know sometimes people the diet, and I know the thing is no, don't make it a diet, make it a lifestyle change. And as Dr. Harrison just said, you can't outrun a bad diet. And I and it still caused but it was at a caloric deficit where I was now exercising more than eating poorly. And that's when I saw the results. I just tell people when I started to eat better, I use what I adopted as a plus and minus scale. So instead of a grand overall where you might shock your diet and your budget, I just decided to what? Minus something that is bad for me and include something that is good for me. So if I used to drink sodas, I minus sodas. Now I drink more water. And as simple as that, you have gotten rid of a negative and you have added a positive. And you just keep doing until you realize that your diet on a whole has improved. I would also suggest to people that, believe it or not, once you start to adopt these healthy practices, you'll realize how turned you are by some of the bad eating practices that you used to easily do. So you used to have one bar of chocolate, but now that you're health conscious, now that you've been eating properly, eat a protein.
Square.
Yeah, eat a protein bar, but you really can't do what you used to do. KFC that you used to feast on is not like, nah, why did I even waste my money on this? And so I'm not trying to hit out anyone's Friday meal special, okay? Again, with the KFC, reduce regardless of what I say.
Interesting, and I'm on the future.
Used to buy one. Big deal. Now you buy
have a 2-piece instead of the big deal then.
No. Go to a 1 piece.
And have the original rather than the barbecue. Have the original rather than the barbecue. Spicy better?
Yeah.
Okay.
As it pertains to, exam times now and, you're trying to juggle studying and still trying to be active, I would suggest that you don't procrastinate firstly because a lot of people want to be active. I know people who will scroll through Instagram, look on fitness pages, and they'll never do anything. But they'll be like, yo, do you see this girl's body? My God. I'm like, yeah, that's cool, but why you don't use it as a small motivation?
Many of us are guilty here.
Oh,
Say, yo, I would have loved them 6-pack abs, you know, but I'm not doing it.
But you see, if you have a community like this, then we can, you know, encourage you to do the burpees, because Septimus did the burpees, and then we had everybody doing the burpees. Dr. Beckford going to do the burpees and send it in to us. So you need a community to push you.
All right, dear. I will. I'll let my wife.
And Dr. Coley, you have no representative here.
Yeah, and I remember when I actually was just watching YouTube and something popped up, and I saw a guy that says 100 burpees in 30 days. I said, what kind of madness is that? And I said, because I'm also clearly very mad, I said, let me watch it. And I watched it, and I hit up one of my friends who attends the gym. I said, yo, me go try this 100 burpees thing. I was like, hell no. So I was like, okay, it's clearly me one. So I went, started my 100 burpees. The first day it took me 13 minutes, and I was very proud. I'll tell you that now I can do it in under 5 minutes, right? What? But yeah, no, that just shows you can't, as humans, we can't keep on doing the same thing and not improve, especially when we're doing it properly. It's very hard to not improve. It's when we reach a certain place that we plateau. You really plateau at the base.
Well, that's why your burpee look plenty better than my burpee.
Yeah, if we can do 100 in 5 minutes. I'll take 5 minutes to complete one.
Sometimes it happens, you might never do any more. You might never do more than 5, Abigail. But what you might end up doing is 5 perfect burpees.
Okay.
Yeah, and
try.
Yeah, no one can say that you ain't a boss. You just gave them 5 tomorrow.
The perfect burpee. I can do. I can
like you and give it a try.
5 perfect ones. I can work to that.
Okay, on the screen.
All right, I have a class at 5. They start come on from about 4:45, so I have to chip out now. I have sociology at 5 to 6.
I think I would like to add to that in terms of health and mental health and psychological health and emotional health, helping others is also very useful. Being kind to others helps us to be kinder to ourselves. So those of you who can or are able to, adopting an animal is a good idea. JSPCA has a range of animals that are left by people who've migrated or animals, puppies that they found that they give a home, they try to find homes for. So if you can, working with an animal I've found to be very, very, some sort of pet, to be very, very useful. Not all of you can as university students, but those who can, you should think about that.
Can I just add, the mental health you just addressed? Once you feel good and you believe that you look good, then you are way more positive. A lot of people really aren't very comfortable in their own skin. And if you're quotation marks fat and you're comfortable, the only thing I'd preach to you is try to ensure that you're fat and healthy.
Yeah, true.
That's it. You get me? If you need to be slimmer, then work towards it, because once you realize that you're looking slimmer, then you'll be way more positive. It has an effect on just your character. You smile a little more, you're less stressed. All the stresses that used to bog you down, you shake them off because you're sexy and you know it.
And try to have a good, as you pointed out, try to have a good sense of self. Try to have a good sense of self. If you have a good sense of self, nobody can come and tell you that you look fat and so. So really, like so, have a good sense of self. Develop or acquire a good sense of self. Very important.
I think I might have accidentally shared my notes with you. You say so many things that uncanny.
Great guys, think unlike you said again. So
Yeah,
guys, thank you so much guys for joining us. And now Guys, before you go, we have something very important. So drum roll, please.
So, without any more talk, we want to introduce the new Faculty of Social Sciences mascot, right? We need to represent rolling up with it. So you guys voted, right? And we tallied up the results, and the tiger is now the Faculty of Social Sciences mascot. Now,
Hey, I like the tiger.
right? I was excited. I voted for the tiger as well, so I'm really, really excited. And the tiger just represents a whole lot, right? It's associated with strength, courage, determination, um, independence, right? It's a good spirit. It's just a whole lot. So we're obviously going to, go into it a bit more later on. But for right now, we're just telling you guys that the tiger is the new Faculty of Social Sciences mascot. So look out for that next semester, right? And the administration just wanted you to know that we'll also have an newsletter, right? So we'll have a newsletter that is really, really good. We'll have a few articles, 10 articles to be exact, and I really think that they're going to be very beneficial for all of us, right? Talking about identities, talking about coping with COVID, talking about financial management, is talking about hindsight. Hindsight is 2020. Listen, we're going to a new year, new me, and it's really, we really need to embody that, right? It's been a hard year. We need to cut ourselves some slack. We'll have TikTok procrastination. What? The administration is really up in this game, and I really appreciate it, right? I really love to see it transitioning into online learning. And what doesn't kill me makes me stronger, right? We just did those burpees. It felt like it was about to kill me, but it didn't. It made me stronger in the end, right? So just wanted you guys to know that.
Guys, the administration is working under the committee. They are working so that you can have a better university experience, a better Faculty of Social Sciences experience. Because the Faculty of Social Sciences is the biggest faculty on campus, of course. And I'm going to say this, we are the best. So, guys, we want you to develop social sciences identity. We want you to become a pro tiger. So we hope that you enjoy the newsletter. We hope that you love our new mascots. And that's something that you can definitely look forward to next semester. And without further ado, I would love to thank each and every single one of our sponsors for coming in, joining us. We love you.
Thank you so much.
So much.
Our winners, right? I hope you guys remember to message FSS, you, Mona, and to your prize, right? We also need to give our panelists some prizes because thank you so much, Dr. Bateman, right? Dr. Bateman.
Thank you, guys. You're welcome.
Dr. Cooley, Dr. Harrison, and of course, Mr. Grinnell. Thank you so much, guys, for being a part. Of course, we have to pick up the entire FSS administration marketing team because you guys made this event possible. And we also want to pick up you guys there in YouTube world. We really appreciate you for tuning in, for participating. I hope you for staying too. I hope you enjoyed the engagement. And again, it is your host, Teji and Dana, and we are thanking you so much. Oh, sorry guys. So we forgot the winner, and the winner for the final giveaway was Miss Jodianne P. Stewart. So you can just message the page at FSS Mona for your prize. So again, I think we went through this already. So we'd love to thank you guys for rolling it out with us. We really enjoyed it, and we're really hoping that we will see you again next year if possible. Thank you guys so much. Have a good one. Walk safe.
Thank you guys.
Bye. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bless up. Remember to do your burpees.
You guys did an excellent job, Dana and Teji. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.